everyone and welcome back to my channel. Hi guys. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you how to look good in every single photo. Sometimes people comment on my videos and they're like, what do you do? I'm a model and I have been a model for a very long time. So I have definitely picked up a few tips and tricks along the way in my career in terms of how to look good and how to pose in a photo. We are going to be covering light, posing, your face, and in general, how to get the shot. So let's get started. Okay, the first thing we're going to talk about is light. Light is probably the most important thing in a photo. My very first tip with light is to find natural light. So what is natural light? Natural light is just the light from the world out there. The easiest way to get a very flattering natural light photo is just to go over to a nice big window, take your cell phone out, put it into selfie mode, and allow the light to light up your entire face. Make sure you're facing that window, and it is a very flattering light to take a photo in. The next tip is to shoot during golden hour. If you are very motivated to take a photo in very flattering light, golden hour is the time to do that. So flattering that sometimes on photo shoots, we literally only shoot at sunrise and sunset, and we will not shoot anywhere in between. The easiest way to find out when that is actually in the weather app on iPhone. You can see when the sun rises and when the sun sets. My next tip is if you go outside and you're like, Emily, I'm gonna use all this natural light that you were talking about. Sometimes it can be difficult, like I said, to shoot a photo in midday. There's light coming from so many different directions. It can be coming from right above you or below you or bouncing off buildings. So my tip for that is to find some sort of shade. Make sure that you are covered by this shade, but make sure that you are still getting hit by the natural light on your face from the outside. Let's talk about lights to avoid. Like I said, any light from overhead, any light from underneath, which can be like candlelit. Sometimes I'm at dinner and I'm like, oh, this is gonna be like such a cool photo with a candle. And I'm like, no. Like I would also avoid fluorescent lights. I don't know if you guys know what that is. I'll like put a stock photo right here of some fluorescent light. It's just not flattering. Okay, everyone, let's start talking about posing. This is a question that I get a lot from friends or family. People are like, I don't know what to do with my body or my hands. And don't worry, we're gonna talk about all of that. My first tip is to be aware of your posture. So what does that mean? Make sure that your shoulders are down. Make sure that your core is braced. It's very easy for us to have our shoulders kind of scrunched up. It is also helpful to imagine that a thread is pulling you from the top of your head all the way up to the sky. Almost thinking about it like you are a dancer, to be aware of your entire body. For your core, just being aware of your midsection and sort of bracing it, like almost like you would in a plank. My next tip is to elongate your limbs. Like I said, it never really looks good in a photo when you are scrunched up into a tiny ball and sort of hunching over. It is always more flattering to maybe have one leg extended out, or maybe you have an arm extended out. In general, trying to extend your body to make it look longer is much more flattering for a photo. My next tip is around hands. I still have times on set where I literally do not know what to do with my freaking hands. My first tip would be to bring in a prop. So that can be a coffee cup, it can be a purse, it can be your groceries, whatever it may be. It gives you something to do with your hands, and it also gives you an action in the photo. In general, if you're just standing there like with your hands by your side, it just can look kind of awkward. My next tip would be to put your hands in your pockets. Playing with the pockets of your jeans or a jacket can be very, very helpful. If you are like, Emily, I don't have a pocket or a prop or any of these things, what do I do with my hands? Fear not. So you can always cross your arms, you can play with your hair, you could put your hands in your mouth, you could put your hands close to your face, and it can be a little bit more playful and girly. My next tip would be to shift your hips from side to side in a photo. You will never see a model just standing there, rarely just like pin straight with their arms at their side. You can shift your weight from side to side and play with the shape of your body. My next tip is a little bit weird, but in a photo, I almost always have my hips sort of shifted slightly back, almost like I am arching my lower back. I just think it's a little bit more flattering. It's almost like I try to think about my tailbone going towards the back of the room. It just creates a little bit more of a flattering shape for your body and your legs. My next tip is to create shapes. So if you put your hands in your pocket or a hand on your hip, it allows for space in between your arms and your hips, allowing to show off your waistline, which can be very flattering. My next tip is to do the fake model walk. All models do that. If you ever see a photo shoot happening, you will see models doing the fake step forward and back. It helps to create some movement and it helps to create different shapes with your body. Let's move on to face. Okay, so the next thing we are going to talk about is our faces. My face, your face, what to do with your face in a photo. My number one tip would be is you need to practice in the mirror. This is very America's Next Top Model advice, but practice in the mirror or grab your cell phone, put it into selfie mode, take a video, or start taking a million photos of yourself, making a million different photos, do different things with your mouth, maybe smile, maybe don't, play with the angles of your face. You need to get an idea of what angle and what expressions you like your face best. So my next tip would be to smile. Sometimes I think in photos, people feel like they need to be serious or look super serious. For myself on Instagram, I tend to smile or slightly smile all the time. Doing a slight smirk is sort of my go-to. I have almost the exact same facial expression in every single one of my photos, but I just think it makes me look more relaxed in a photo, and I prefer that. I'm not on Instagram to look like a super serious, scary person. That's what my modeling career is for, where I hope it's making me seem like a super cool, serious person. It might feel a little bit weird, but my next tip is to do a fake laugh. If you feel like your smile is a little bit stiff, doing some sort of fake laugh or fake giggle can kind of make it a little bit more natural and feel a little bit more candid. Don't feel weird giggling to yourself. Every single model I know does it. My next tip is to raise your eyebrows slightly. So I almost always have my eyebrows slightly raised. It's like a reflex. I don't even know if I can be on camera without having my eyebrows slightly raised. The reason why I do that is I feel like it gives my entire face a tiny bit of a facelift. I'll show you what my face looks like completely relaxed, and then what my face looks like when I have my eyebrows slightly raised. I think lifting my eyebrows slightly just gives my entire face a little bit of a lift and makes me look more awake. My next tip is to SMIZE. I know that's very Tyra Banks, it's very Zoolander. It's very easy to look like a deer in headlights in photos. I still have photos like that oftentimes when I go on red carpets where I'm just not thinking about it and my eyes just go like totally huge. Like, I don't know why. There's just like so many cameras and so much going on, and then there's photos of me just like smile to make it look more relaxed. I don't know what it is for you, but if anything, just make sure that you don't look like a deer in headlights. My next tip is a little bit weird, but it's something that I always do when I'm taking photos, especially beauty photos. I always have my tongue glued to the roof of my mouth. If my tongue is not on the roof of my mouth, your neck just looks a little bit more relaxed, a little less defined, and I will try to show you what that looks like. But when my tongue is on the roof of my mouth, it just makes my neck look a little bit longer and more sculpted, which I think is a little bit more flattering. Next, we're going to talk about, in general, getting the shot. So here are some general tips for that. So in general, for taking a photo, just use whatever type of camera you have on hand. You do not need anything fancy at all. I take all of my Instagram photos and film most of my YouTube videos with an iPhone. My next tip is to set up the photo and pose someone else in the photo before you ask them to take it. So my husband, who is not in fashion and not a photographer, I had to teach him from the ground up how to take a good photo. So what I tend to do sometimes, if I see a scenario where I like the background, or I think it would make for a great photo and maybe there's really good light, I basically take a photo with no one in it first, just to see how it looks. Then I will ask Kyle to step in and I will set him up exactly how I want the photo to look. I really try to set it up as close to the vision that I have as possible. Have a vision and you want some good Instagram photos, you're just gonna have to art direct that thing yourself. My next tip is quantity, quantity, quantity. So how do you do that? Ask whoever is taking your photo to do it in burst mode. What is burst mode on iPhone? The same button that you use when you are taking a photo, but just ask that person who is taking your photo to hold it down and your phone will go into burst mode. So in burst mode, it will take so many photos in a very, very short period of time. So you have lots and lots of options. My next tip is around, if you are taking photos alone, try it in selfie video mode. So if you put your phone into selfie mode and then take a video of yourself and very slowly move around and pose in front of the camera, take a look at the video, pause it so you can look through the video slowly, see if you find a still moment that is flattering for a photo, take a screenshot, and that can hopefully be your photo. The next tip is around, think about what you want your photo to focus on. So a lot of times I'll have a cute coat or a cute purse or a cute pair of shoes that I want the photo to kind of revolve around, but having an object or a thing that you want the photo to kind of be about or focus on sometimes can be helpful. My next tip is to always be on the hunt for cute backgrounds. Having some sort of aesthetically pleasing background is very, very helpful. So in New York, it's a lot of brick walls, but occasionally some colorful walls or maybe some plants or greenery, whatever it may be. If you see something that would make for a good background, snap a photo of it, add it to an album on your iPhone so you can reference back to it in terms of cute backgrounds or cute areas to take photos. The next tip is to take the photo the minute you get there. If you know you want a photo when you show up to a restaurant or a coffee shop or whatever it may be, if I'm with my friends or family or my husband or whatever it may be, if I scout the place and get the photo out of the way right when I get there, I just feel a little bit more relieved and know that I have a photo that I can post a little bit later and I can be present where I am. All right, you guys, this concludes all of my tips and tricks in terms of how to look good in a photo. Let me know in the comment section below if you like these types of videos. If you want a part 2, let me know. Any other topics that you want to hear about and I can help you with, just write that in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.